Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, a shocking state audit reveals hundreds of Kentucky foster children have slept in offices, hotels, and even state parks. And the president is set to appear in Cincinnati as well as northern Kentucky. We'll have a preview of his visit.
First alert weather day has been declared for Wednesday because of the threat for severe weather. Details coming up.
Dedicated to southern and eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. The conflict between the U.S. and Iran continues in the Middle East tonight. Pentagon officials say about 140 U.S. service members have been wounded during the war. Yesterday, we told you that a Kentucky service member, Sergeant Benjamin Pennington, died from injuries sustained during an attack. One woman was killed in Bahrain as an Iranian drone slammed into an apartment building. Today, military leaders provided an update while also defending the timeline of Operation Epic Fury. According to the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Dan Kane, U.S. strikes have limited Iran's capabilities, with Iranian missile attacks down 90% and drone attacks down more than 80% since the start of the war. The U.S. has hit more than 5,000 targets so far, according to the Pentagon. That includes 50 naval vessels. Kane says the next phase involves targeting the infrastructure behind Iran's military operations.
Focusing on centers of gravity to get upstream of the shooters out in the field in order to deny them the ability to continue to generate those one-way attack drones.
More than 10 days into the conflict, Secretary Pete Hegseth is pushing back on comparisons to previous Middle East wars. He says President Trump will decide when and how the conflict ends. A deadly crash caused part of US 127 in Mercer County to be closed for hours. The coroner says a pickup truck crashed into the back of a Rumpke garbage truck. The driver of the pickup, 44-year-old Jason McCarty of Harrodsburg, was trapped and had to be pulled from the vehicle. He died at the scene. Rumpke officials say the person driving the garbage truck was outside of it and not hurt. Rumpke put out a statement saying their thoughts are with everyone involved in the crash. Now, there was another deadly crash last night in Knott County. Much more about that in our next half hour. A former University of Kentucky student athlete was indicted in connection with her infant's death. Laken Snelling was previously charged with abuse of a corpse, tampering with evidence, and concealing the birth of an infant. That incident happened last August in Lexington. Today, a grand jury indicted her on the previous charges, but also added a first-degree manslaughter charge as well. Police in Pike County are asking for help finding a man in connection with an incident that happened earlier this afternoon. Here's a picture of the man. The Coal Run Police Department says the incident happened at the North Point Academy on North Mayo Trail in Pikeville. No other information was released. If you have any information about this man, contact the police department at 606-437-0902. In Pulaski County, one person was hurt after a building collapsed in Somerset. The Parkers Mill Fire Department responded to reports of a structural collapse on Magnolia Avenue. When units arrived, they found a woman in the backyard underneath debris from a demolished building. Fire crews helped get her out and determined she had a broken ankle. No other injuries were reported. It's been a warm Tuesday, and there is a risk of severe thunderstorms as we go into Wednesday. First Alert meteorologist Eric Dean has the latest.
That's right, and because of that threat for active weather tomorrow, we have a First Alert weather day declared for that because of that threat for strong to severe storms, especially as we go into the evening and overnight hours. Heavy wind, hail, and an isolated tornado is not out of the realm of possibility. Let's go ahead and start off by taking a look here at the overview. You can see everybody in the WYMT viewing area is under that slight risk for severe weather or a level 2 out of 5. Here's that tornado threat right there. Everybody in the coverage area is under a low-end tornado threat. The greatest threat, though, is over towards portions of Rowan County, Elliott County, over towards Wayne County in West Virginia. So again, this is something we're going to keep an eye on right there. as we go into the next several hours. So let's go ahead and dive into future view. We'll start the clock. Here's 8 p.m. Notice how that line starts to push through eastern Kentucky at this time. By midnight, we'll keep that thunderstorm chance in the forecast. That wind will start to shift out of the north and northwest. Some of that will transition into snow as we go into the early morning hours of your Thursday. And then once it's done, it's out of here. We're going to be left with sunny skies by the afternoon hours. We'll have the complete first alert forecast coming up in a few minutes. Steve.
Hard to believe we might see a little bit of snow, Eric. Thank you. Authorities in New Mexico are searching a ranch formerly owned by late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The property, known as Zorro Ranch, is in a remote area south of Santa Fe. It has come under renewed interest after allegations of illegal activity surrounding the estate were included in files recently released by the U.S. Justice Department. In those files, a local radio host says he received an email alleging 2 foreign girls were buried somewhere in the hills near the ranch. That allegation is not verified, but it is also not clear to what extent it has been investigated. Sources say the Justice Department is pressuring prosecutors to bring criminal charges against former CIA Director John Brennan. He's being investigated for testimony he gave to Congress in 2023. That was on the investigation he conducted into possible Russian meddling in the 2016 presidential election. The push for charges started in January, but prosecutors in South Florida resisted. Some of them thought the case was weak. Now the Justice Department is exerting new pressure on them. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration says it will not approve the prescription drug leucovorin as a treatment for autism. During a White House briefing last fall, officials suggested it could help thousands of children with autism. But FDA officials now say the available evidence does not show the drug works for autism more broadly. When asked whether the agency would study that possibility further, officials said that the FDA typically does not fund large trials for autism. The FDA did still approve the medicine for cerebral folate deficiency. That is a rare neurological condition characterized by low levels of vitamin B9 in the brain. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, a change to an affordable housing bill in the Senate is proving controversial. We'll explain.
And get ready for some crazy weather tomorrow. Details coming up.
A deadly